I drink that whole glass of wine, I wouldn't be able to finish the meeting.
Should feel happy.
It's just iced tea.
And Brian, how you doing?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Cardi.
Hi, Brian, how are you?
Hi, Brian.
Do we want me to put up the agenda on my screen for right now?
No,
Did you say no, Harvey? Why not?
well, you don't have an agenda in front of you?
Oh, for everyone else. Well, I was going to say, I think it'd be good when we get to the ordinances that we're discussing today, if we can actually look at them or follow through them together. That would be good.
Yeah, it would be good to be on screen, yeah.
Okay, stop video.
Hello, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Hey, how you
Hi, Rob.
doing?
Hey.
Good. How's it going?
Good.
Good to see
Really
everybody
good.
feeling safe.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I think everyone is here So I call to order the Eastpointe City Council regular meeting Tuesday, May 5th, 2020 at 7 p.m. We will start with the invocation led by Mayor Pro Tem Sarah Lucido, and then go into the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear God, thank you for the many blessings you have given us. Thank you to our police department, fire, EMS, nurses, doctors, cashiers, and all of those working the front lines every day. Thank you to the residents who have reached out to those in need during this time. Pray for the sick and for their loved ones. Let us always be mindful of the amazing gifts you have given each of us. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge
I pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
Flag
Of the
Of the United States of
to
America,
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 and to the
and the
republic
republic for which it stands,
stands,
one
one
nation
nation,
under
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 God,
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 indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty and
liberty
justice
and
for
justice
all.
for all.
Thank you, everyone. Please call the roll this evening.
Councilperson Baker,
here,
Councilperson Curley,
Here,
Councilperson DeMonico,
Here.
Councilperson Lucido,
here.
Mayor Owens.
Here, thank you. The next item is the approval of the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I would like to add one item to the agenda.
Okay.
I would just like to add an item with a discussion with the possibility of planning an event with Macomb Community Action to promote the census.
I'll support that.
So it'd be item H.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Moved and
Thank you.
supported, please call the roll.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Owens,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker,
yes,
Councilperson Curley.
yes.
The next item on the agenda is the hearing of the public, which everyone gets 3 minutes. Please state your name and your residency, please. Have anyone that'd like to speak during the hearing of the public?
I did just open the chat, Madam Mayor,
Okay.
and I posted that. So
No, you see any?
as of right now, I literally just opened it up about 30 seconds ago, but as of right now, no, there's no one who wishes to speak.
Okay, well, we have a second one that if they want to speak, they can. So the first hearing of the public is now closed. Next, we will move to the approval of the minutes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would move that we approve the meetings of the special meeting on April 7th, 2020. And can I put both together? Is that all right with you?
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and then the regular meeting of April 21st, 2020.
Support.
Moved and supported, please call the roll.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker,
yes,
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Owens.
Yes. We don't have any scheduled hearings or unfinished business, but we will go to reports from administration, which we will start with our city manager, Ms. Doom. Ms. Doom, are you there?
I have to unmute myself.
Okay.
Be quiet so you don't hear my paper rustling. So anyways, where I was started was I'm very hopeful that we are able to open June 1st. It will depend on, of course, how the pandemic works its way through our area and if there's any increase, but we're hopeful as of right now. And I would like to remind everyone who is listening that March, April, and May water bills are payable without penalty or interest through June 21st. We've had a lot of questions. I've answered some on Facebook, on our city Facebook site. So just a quick reminder to folks that we do have a drop box on the side of the building near the front door. You certainly can mail in your water bills. You can pay them online. There's been some questions about why is there a fee. That fee is not generated by the city of Eastpointe, nor is it any type of monies that come back to us. It is the company that handles the transaction for you that charges the fee. So you can certainly avoid that by using the Dropbox. And then again, for those folks who do like to pay by cash, we will let you know when we reopen formally. I will post something on Facebook. We'll put it on our website. We'll just let the community know as quickly as we can once we know when we can open. So many of you may have seen
Can
that.
I jump in here real quick?
Sure.
I was just going to, you can hook up your checking account also, people, to, instead of using,
Okay.
because there's a
Thank
fee
you.
for credit card, but not checking account, and you can have it auto taken out too if anyone's interested in that.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Also, you'll notice all around the city, our city properties are being cut. Mowing started yesterday and is underway today also. So just as a reminder to our community, we know there's been a lot of confusion about should we cut grass or should we not cut the grass, but we certainly have been able to since last week, and we've held off. There will be no code enforcement until after May 15th. This is just a reminder from our code enforcement officials. Please keep your grass 6 inches or lower. They will they'll start coming out and taking a look at lawns that aren't cut, of course, through May 15th. That'll give just about everyone time to get those lawnmowers tuned up and get ready for the season. And on our water bills, you'll see a courtesy reminder. And that courtesy reminder will tell people each month that they receive the bill that they are to keep their grass cut. As a reminder, we certainly don't want to do that. We don't want to send anyone out to cut anyone's lawn. We prefer that people did it themselves. It's much less expensive and it creates quite a bit less work for all of us. So let's see what else I have here. That's about it for right now. We'll talk a little bit more as we go into the agenda about the proposed 2021 bill. You see where I'm thinking bills here, about the budget. And so that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that update. Can we also get an update by our finance director, Mr. Blum, please?
Yes, I don't have anything specific to report tonight. We'll be talking enough next week on budget.
Okay.
If you have any questions, go ahead.
Council, anyone have any questions for Mr. Blum tonight?
Not till next week.
Yeah,
All right.
not till next week. We have a lot of questions then. Thank you so much,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Blum, for tuning in. And lastly, our city attorney, Mr. Albright.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay. Relatively short report section this evening. The council's in receipt of our firm's monthly status report. I'm happy to answer any questions about the report. There are also 2 agenda items on this evening's agenda. 2 different ordinances that our office drafted. I'm happy to answer any questions about those ordinances at this time, or certainly during the time that the agenda items are called. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir, for that update.
You're welcome.
That ends the reports from administration. Now we're going to go into new business to receive and file the Roxana Park Improvements 2019 final report.
Sure, Mayor, I'll motion to receive and file the final report on the Roxana Park Improvements 2019 dated April 20, 2020, and it came under budget.
I'll support that.
Okay, we have moved and supported by Mayor Pro Tem Lucido. It's time. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Mayor Owens,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
Councilperson Curley.
Yes.
Next item under new business is introduction and first reading of ordinance number 1186 to repeal existing chapter 2, article 3, division 3, code of ethics, and enact a new chapter 2, article 3, division 3, code of ethics.
Madam
Okay.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to introduce and give first reading to ordinance number 186, repeal existing Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 3, Code of Ethics, and enact a new Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 3, Code of Ethics, and schedule the ordinance for a second reading and consideration for adoption at the City Council regular meeting on May 19th, 2020.
Support.
Moved and supported. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Owens,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker.
Yes. And if I can add real quick, just for a little bit of discussion, I was going to elaborate a little bit on the code of ethics, just briefly, just letting the residents know that this is just designed as a standard of conduct for all city employees, city officers, those of us in local government as well. And it just gives us the guidance to avoid the appearance of impropriety. It provides for penalties to be assessed if there is a violation. It gives the ethics board guidance on how to proceed if there is a violation, or how to proceed in investigating a violation if there is a reason to believe that there is one. So just wanted to let everybody know kind of what that was about.
Thank you.
And if I
Councilman.
could just I was just going, if I could just thank the rest of the committee. Of course, Councilman Baker and I were on the committee, and Walter Martin, Gary Lepard, and Mike Kleinfeld were also the other members of the committee. Thank you for your time.
Yes, I'll extend that thank you. Thank you all for working on this as well, taking time out for that. Moving forward, and thank you, Mr. Baker, for explaining it to the public.
Madam Mayor, real quick, just one more thing on it. I
Yes.
just want to thank, obviously, the committee for all of their work for writing the ethics board, but also I want to remind residents that we are going to start taking applications. If you're on the ethics board, that you can go online and fill out an application.
Thank you so much, everyone, for that information. So we can't wait till you all sign up. Excuse the background. I have to turn the light back on. Next item on the agenda is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 1187 to amend chapter 16, emergencies, article 2, emergency management. Any discussion on that, anyone? Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
I would move to introduce and give first reading to ordinance number 1187 to amend chapter 16 emergencies, article 2, emergency management, and schedule the ordinance for second reading and consideration of adoption at the City Council regular meeting on May 19, 2020.
anyone?
Support.
I'll support.
Moved and supported. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson Lucido,
Ms. Lucido, you're on mute.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor
Sorry.
Owens,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
and Councilperson DeMonico.
Well, I know we're in the middle of voting. I was hoping to talk about it, but I'm going to vote no. We have to do a second reading, but we could talk at that one then.
Okay. I mean, we're still, on the subject if you want to speak on it.
Well, when we're in the
Councilman.
middle of a vote, we shouldn't. But well, I guess the vote's over now. We could talk about it next meeting, but I was just going to say I think it's something we should just maybe consider after an emergency's over, not during it. But we could have further discussion to it. We need 2 readings, so we could discuss it further at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Monaco. Okay. We're going to the next item D, presentation of city manager's proposed 2021 fiscal year budget. We're going to turn this into the city manager, Ms. Doon.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to keep this brief because we are on Zoom, so I
Turn this light on real quick.
Wait, we lost.
We lost.
We lost. We lost
For a
it.
second, Elke. I don't think she is hearing us either then.
She's not looking.
Brian, can you chat her? or
I'm gonna shoot her a text real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
There
Yeah,
she
we
goes.
heard you for a minute.
That's a real nice time to cut out on me.
Didn't hear a word you said.
Well, I guess I get to start again, don't I? I didn't get too
Oh.
far. You can all hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what's with this laptop, but it is being replaced, we think tomorrow, because it does have sound issues. All right, so as I was trying to say, I'm going to keep this brief because we've got a lot of talking to do about the budget as we go forward. So just the highlights tonight. Can you hear me? I'm
Yes.
hearing-
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm hearing Brian and seeing Brian shake his head no. Don't shake your head no. So anyways, our budgeted revenues have increased this year by $463,000, of which $37,000 is increased from property taxes and $197,000 is from SMORSA, both of which are limited to a 9.9% increase this year. So we're also anticipating a $200,000 increase in state revenue sharing. Now, these are offset by 100.
Oh,
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
No.
We can't hear you. Oh, you can hear us? Okay.
No.
We're gonna give her some time to. So while we're waiting, I want to thank everyone, all the residents, for tuning in and staying connected with their mayor and council, and everyone staying safe.
It's really nice to see what great participation we're getting in our meetings, even though we're doing them on Zoom.
All right. Take her a few minutes.
Hello?
There you go. We can hear you.
You know, it shows that the speaker's on. I'm unmuted. I just don't understand it, but this should be the last day. So I'm going to do this really, really fast. Budget looks great. We've got revenues coming in. I don't want to lose you again. So anyways, what we have right now is a budget that is pretty much status quo. Where there is one exception, that we're looking for a part-time public information officer that will maintain all of our sites for us, keep our website up to date, Facebook, keep our marquee going, you know, just really that person who can do press releases and do wonderful things for us. So anyways, just real quick before I lose you again, we have budgeted revenues of potentially $463,000. Of that, $37,000 is from property taxes, $197,000 an increase from SMORSA, $200,000 increase in state revenue sharing. Of course, that is subject to change as we go further after the economic decline that we've had. But as of right now, we're looking pretty good. We do have a reduction of $194,000 in court fines We had anticipated additional revenues from the additional police officers, but that has not occurred. So other than that, our revenues are pretty stable over the year. Now, the largest capital item in our budget this year is a fire ladder truck at $1,250,000. And excluding this purchase, it still leaves us with a fund balance of $177,000. Of course, this is before any contract negotiations, any changes. We're right in the middle of contract negotiations with all of our unions, so that is subject to change. And yes, I'm talking very fast before I lose you all again. So anyhow, the major street funds will be reconstructing a portion of Topher. We're modernizing traffic signals and starting the 9-mile reconstruction. Local streets will continue to be repaired, and both of those funds are currently healthy. Our library capital activities have wrapped up, and they're very solid. The rubbish fund is in its 8th year. Waste hauling contract, also good. Water and sewer, now we are anticipating close to 4 million cubic feet less in usage. And at the same time, when the water declines, the water sales decline, we are anticipating a sewer cost that's increasing by 6.3% and water operations increasing by 10.8%. So these are going to have to take, we're going to have to take a close look at our water rates, and we'll make that decision as you go along with the year. But it's definitely something that needs further conversation. And so we'll have more detailed information next time that we sit down and we start talking about the budget. And I've got my fingers crossed I haven't lost a single one of you yet. So I hope you could still all hear me, but the budget looks good. We've done a lot of work. And I do want to really send a very special thank you to all those folks who've helped. All of our department directors have worked very hard on, keeping the line on the budget. Randy's been an immense help to me. He's got so much history and knowledge being with the city for so long. Brian also, he's chipped in quite a bit, and we've put a lot together for you. So we're really feeling very positive about this budget. But at the same time, we have the same concerns many other communities have, which is how are we going to look financially after this COVID-19 and the impact it's put on our economy, statewide and local. So that's something more for the 2022 year, but we'll still have to look very closely at our budget to make sure we can stretch those dollars into a year that might be on a serious decline. And that's all I have for you right now.
Thank you, Ms. Doom.
You're
Council, any
welcome.
questions?
Yeah, could I just jump in with just a couple things?
Sure.
Thank you, City Manager Doom, and everyone else that put the budget together. I just wanted to throw a couple questions out now, maybe to prepare for the 12th or 13th that seemed like more major items that I saw as I was going through this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the first thing was about the personnel costs. How come we don't we usually add into this original budget, we'd add a couple percent or some sort of number instead of keeping wages flat, because then, our deficit will be even, is going to be even larger. I don't know if Mr. Blum can talk to what we usually at least start with. I know we're in the middle of bargaining also, but just to have some sort of guideline here.
Yeah, we made a conscious decision at the start that we were not going to budget any increases, rather than, we throw in 2% and then the unions want 3%, and we're going to have to do a budget amendment either way. So it was actually cleaner to keep it status quo, no additional personnel, no projected increases. And then we knew what our starting point was before we went into negotiations. And we had a better picture of what we could afford. There will be an amendment, obviously, as all these contracts get ratified, but that will come after the budget is finalized.
And we also we said we didn't budget for reduced shared revenue then either. Assuming sales tax.
Yeah, we were already, 75% of the way through the budget when all this COVID and revenue share reductions kicked in. We are kind of playing it by ear now that either well, I guess right now we're crossing our fingers that Congress does a local government stimulus package and offsets some of the reductions. If not, that'll also have to be another budget amendment, and we'll have to make the appropriate adjustments at that time. But right now, there's just too much uncertainty to speculate on what may or may not happen.
Okay. I just want to keep that in mind because right now, so we've got a budgeted 1.4 million shortfall, right? Without taking any of these items into account, well, these two items so far,
Correct.
for general fund, I should say.
Yeah. And $1,250,000 of that is the ladder truck, of which some money was already set aside in previous years. So from an operational standpoint, it's about, I believe it was $194,000 deficit before the ladder truck purchase.
Sure, but I mean, I think if we compared to last year's CIP, it's not quite a 1.2 million difference. It was, I want to believe, 600,000. So really, we could only attribute, you know, compared to last year at least, we wouldn't be able to blame it all on the fire truck, I guess is what I'm saying. Compared to how much capital expense we had last year. I think I wrote it down somewhere here. Yeah, about 613,000 difference. I think if I did my rough math, we had 932,000 in capital and general fund last year, and it's 1.5 million this year. Guess I'm just saying we'll have to look at some of this, or else we're going to have a decent deficit this year. And then I think I saw the MTU project for water and sewer. I know we've talked about that before, about updating the water meters. I thought, from what I recall, is that we wanted some sort of report about why we need to do this. I believe it, to me, it's, I don't know. I know that we've had issues with some water meters, but not all of them, because I mean, that's a super expensive project.
That's a, we have replaced about 15% of the readers already from the original ones from 2006. They had a estimated maximum lifespan of 15 to 20 years is what they gave us. We found that they've started to fail as early as 8 years into the installations. Mr. Abraham is putting together a proposal that will be going out for bid and coming to council, obviously, to replace all of the MTUs. And that is factored in as part of one of the capital projects for the water sewer fund.
So is the MTU just the reader that sends a signal, or the actual water meter?
Just the reader that sends a signal. The meter themselves, they will last a good 50 years.
Okay. So yeah, why would we, if for the ones that are working, why would we replace those?
It depends on what vendor we end up with. If it's a different vendor, then the new old ones would not be compatible. If it's the same vendor, then we could probably save some money and not replace the more recent replacements.
Okay, I think we'll need to, I mean, that's a $2.8 million project, so I think we'll need to discuss that.
Oh, it will definitely be coming before council.
And then just the last, I think the last thing, so then I believe if I did my math right too here, we're proposing a 7.6% increase in water sewer rate, if you combine the two together.
The usage portion, it actually comes to 8.3%.
Oh, okay, so did my math. So we're saying that water and sewer rates are going up that much that we need to.
Yeah, well, we'll have further conversation next week about that, but there's some alternatives that we can look at. But the declining water purchases, a lot of our costs are fixed. So as people purchase less water, then the cost per unit has to go up to cover the fixed charges. And that's become part of our problem over the last few years.
Sure. Okay, that was all. I just wanted to, the rest of council, just be aware of a couple of my concerns about the budget.
Thank you, Councilman, for that. I believe that we are You didn't get a, did we do a motion to approve this yet?
Not yet, but I'll be willing to make one.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I would like to motion that we will schedule a public hearing for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. for the proposed fiscal year 2020 to 2021 budget and tax rate to support the budget pursuant to Chapter 12, Section 7 of the Eastpointe City Charter, and to direct the city clerk to publish all required notices of the public hearing.
Well, I think so. The budget was left out of the agenda packet. I think that is the next thing here, but I think we're slightly ahead. The motion for, we could motion for that too, but the
To receive.
we were just at the receiving. Just say we received the budget.
Oh,
Mr. Baker.
At that point.
I can amend that if I need to then.
Actually, do need to do a first reading of the budget tonight. It should be the motion.
Well, we've got a motion here just to receive the
To
budget.
receive, yeah, we're doing the
next-
receiving part first, and then we go on to the next part. So, Mr. Baker, did you want to just amend that and change that to receive first? And then we go into introducing after that later on in the agenda.
Okay. All right. Well, I will make a motion to make sure I got this right to receive the proposed budget fiscal year 2020 to 2021.
Yeah. And then just schedule budget workshops for May 12 and 13 at 5 p.m. via Zoom.
Okay, and then we'll schedule the budget workshops for May 12th and 13th via Zoom at 5 p.m.
I'll support that.
Thank you both. Moved and supported, please call the roll.
Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Mayor Owens.
Yes. Next item is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 1188, fiscal year 2020 through 21, appropriations and tax levies. Council, any discussion on this? If not, can I get a motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I motion to introduce and give first reading to ordinance 1188, which provides for the annual appropriations and tax levies for the city of Eastpointe for the fiscal year 2021, and schedule the ordinance for a second reading and consideration of adoption at the regular city council meeting of June 16th, 2020.
I'll support that.
Moved and supported, thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Owens.
Yes. Next item is the schedule of the public hearing on proposed fiscal year 2020 and 21 budget.
Madam Mayor, I would
Yes,
move
sir.
that- I would move that we would schedule a public hearing on the proposed 2020-21 budget and tax rate to support the budget for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. pursuant to Chapter 12, Section 7 of the Eastpointe Charter, and direct the city clerk to publish all required notices to the public hearing.
Support.
Moved and supported, please call the roll.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Mayor Owens.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the review of the agenda deadline policy and the bylaws, which was presented by Councilman DeMonico. Did you want to speak on this, Mr. DeMonico?
Sure, and I just wanted to make this brief, but I just wanted to discuss it for a second to make sure that everything goes smoothly for us and we're not rushing to do things over the weekend before a meeting. Well, we as in city administration, city council's not the one that's got to update the agenda, place it online and all that sort of thing. In our current council bylaws, there's a deadline of noon on Friday before each meeting. It essentially just says 4 days before at noon. And generally we've had that as our timeline, and our deadline for getting things on the agenda. And I think recently we've added a few things last minute, and then it's tough for city administration to handle it because most of that time is over the weekend before the Tuesday meeting. And then just to me, I believe it's not fair for the public if we're posting an agenda on Friday. We really, I think, should be updating it after that point and adding things to the agenda. Only, I think, at approval of the agenda at the meeting between Friday at noon and then. And actually, after rereading it, I believe that's what the bylaws actually say. I know we maybe in practice haven't strictly adhered to that, but I'd like to know what everyone else thinks. But I think as of my reading, we need to get all of our items to the city manager's office, if you deliver it by hand, email, whatnot, by noon on Friday. Otherwise, I believe you need to bring it up at the meeting during approval of the agenda. That's my reading of it, and I just like to do that to prevent, like I said, things being added over the weekend and it just being a little chaotic, and then us adding, items over the weekend, that sort of thing.
Thank you, Mr. DeMonico. Anyone want to speak on this?
Yeah, just Carney, are you talking about things added after the agenda is been produced? You normally get the agenda sometimes Thursday night, most of the time Friday night. So are you talking about once the agenda is printed, we really don't want to add anything till the actual meeting when we approve the agenda?
Yeah, and I just wanted us just to all be on the same page, just so it's very smooth, because, and I talked to our city manager, Ms. Doom, already about it. I was just planning on doing something on Thursday night and emailing it in that night, but then that's when we received the email that morning about getting the agenda. I just want to make sure, so when everyone's planning to do things, that, we're all on the same timeline, just so we're not surprised and the public's not surprised also on both sides. If, for coronavirus reasons or something, we want to push that back to, city administration would like a little more time if Friday at noon's too late. And I imagine not too many items would be emailed in even that late. We usually talk about them at the previous meeting. Most items are added by administration anyway. Only a handful of items each meeting, one or two at most, I'd say, are added by council members that weren't, previously discussed or that sort of thing. So just so we're all on the same page and not surprised at all, I would just say that we need to get our items in by noon on Friday. And of course, at every regular meeting, anybody on council can add anything they want, but just so that we're all on the same page. That's really the only reason I just wanted to bring that up.
Anyone else would like to add or speak on this?
I guess, does
Okay.
anyone disagree with that? I guess, does anyone disagree with that?
Well, that's
I
part of the
don't
discussion.
disagree.
Y'all disagree, agree? Any discussion on it?
No,
I
that sounds
agree.
reasonable.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think we needed a motion then or anything. That's what our current bylaws say, so.
No, we didn't need a motion. I would have called for one. Thank you. Going forward, thank you, Mr. Monaco. Going to item H is the Macomb County action, which was added to by Councilwoman Sarah Lucido. Would you like to speak on this, please?
Yes. So anyways, I had received an email from the Macomb Community Action that they are providing some funds if our community would be interested in hosting something to promote the census. And when I talked to the gentleman, he basically said we would have to kind of like plan the event, but the majority of the events that have been planned have been kind of like them offering free meals from someplace local.
Okay.
If they come out and they fill out their census. So I didn't know if the rest of the council would be interested in maybe working together to try to plan something or not. I don't know how we would go about just making sure people that haven't filled out the census are the ones coming. I don't know if we would really be able to do that or not. So I just wanted to add that on the agenda to see if anyone else would have an opinion on it or if this is something they might want to move forward with.
I would like to see us, the percentage of our census go up. I was talking to a young lady named Vicki McClendon, who lives in Eastpointe, who is in partnership with the Census Bureau and works with them. And she would be delighted to help us if people didn't know or had questions and filling it out. They can stay in their car or give us information. I think Mount Clemens, the city of Mount Clemens did something similar to that. Had people stay in their car, make sure the workers had their mask on, and just, gave information, and they gave out food as well. So I was thinking about maybe doing something at the high school and making sure, because traffic can be ran really productive at the high school, in and out, and things like that. So if that's something you guys want to think about doing together, I wouldn't mind even helping with that project.
Yeah, did they not move the deadline to fill out the forms to a later date? I don't
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to find what that date is, first of all. And the high school would work out well as long as
We can't hear you, Mr. Curley.
as long as we don't as long as they don't interfere with what's going on there. But there's certainly a lot more room there than any place else in the city. I don't know, but the lunches would be fine. We'd have, if we're going to provide the lunches, it would have to be probably a bag lunch. I would think we wouldn't be able to take care of them at the banquet tables, but we could still manage that if it's a bag lunch. City manager, was there a discussion about them providing the lunches themselves at one time?
We haven't had that discussion, but I understand Mount Clemens. They had boxed lunches that they handed out to folks as they drove by and did the census. So no one had to really touch one another. They could keep their distance.
Yeah.
It's definitely something for us to look at just now that they've extended the deadline. And I've also read that the census wants to do a sweep again of the people that they haven't reached in September. So we've got about a 59% reporting in Eastpointe, which although that doesn't sound very high, it's actually above the state average. But the more people who get counted, the more options we have for grants and for federal loans to come to us. So it's really important to count everyone. So I think we've got ourselves some time. I'd love to talk with Vicki and see whether she feels that it's a good time to do this now, or if it's time when they do their sweep in the fall to try and get that last 41%. But I'm certain we can all work together and make this happen.
Madam Mayor, one more thing. When I spoke with Mr. Conway from the Macomb Community Action, he said right now they're planning events in June and July. He didn't know if they would go past then. Obviously, it depends on their funding. They still have funding left right now. But so I was thinking that if we were to plan something, maybe we could plan something for July. It'll be warmer out. It'll be, nicer for everyone. So if that's something you would be interested in working with, maybe the mayor and I and Ms. Doom can talk one time and get together, maybe, get some ideas. And maybe Vicki, the census worker that you mentioned, we can maybe all have a meeting and kind of see what we can come up with and then maybe propose that to council.
Absolutely. I was also thinking, I know we do the gleaners here and Eastpointe at the schools. Maybe we can do something with gleaners and just let the residents know when they're picking up food for their kids, how important it is with the census, even though they're coming up, just give them information. Because I know when I spoke to Ms. McClendon, she had certain things as far as census little, giveaways as well. So that's another way we can reach out to the community with people who have children and go to the school district. So thank you for putting this on the agenda. And we will definitely work together to make sure we are the top city with our census rates and numbers. So going to payroll and bills.
I'll make a motion that we approve the payment of the bills in the amount of $785.33.
Support.
Moved and supported. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Mayor Owens,
Yes.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson DeMonico.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is the second hearing of the public. You get 3 minutes. I'm getting my stopwatch together right now. So I can make sure you get the full 3 minutes if you like. Please state your name and your residency. The second part of the hearing of the public is now open.
Yeah, the Zoom chat's open.
Alrighty. Yep, I did open up the Zoom chat a few minutes ago. I will also be looking to see if anyone raises their hand.
Okay.
Currently, no one is raising their hand,
Okay.
but there
well,
is a
thank
comment
you.
from Mikaline.
Yes, Miss. Did you want a comment, or I'm sorry, what'd you say, Mr. Fairbrother?
Oh, she commented in the chat a couple times, so anyone is welcome to read that.
Okay. Well, thank you. The second hearing of the public is now closed. Going to mayor and council reports, starting with Councilman DeMonico.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And thanks. Well, I think that this meeting went very smoothly, even with the one budget hiccup. So this was good. It's only 7:46 right now. But yeah, just wanted to say thank you to everyone in city administration, of course, for putting the budget together and just doing everything they've been doing. Of course, this is tough times, so we appreciate everything you're doing and adapting to the situation, especially thanks police, fire, and DPW, because of course, they can't do their jobs from home like I can, writing software. So thank you to everyone. And, my condolences too to anyone that's lost someone from this. I think we're going to get to a point where everybody's going to know someone. A lot of people are passing away. So just keep everyone in your thoughts. Try to do what you can to reduce any contact with anyone so we have the least amount of people infected. And, we'll eventually get over this. And I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to everybody, Sarah and Monique and everyone else.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, and happy birthday to my wife, Alyssa. Her birthday was yesterday. And that was really all I had. Thanks.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Alyssa. Next is Councilman Baker.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to, I'm going to echo Councilman DeMonico's happy birthday to Alyssa, and also happy Mother's Day to Mayor Owens and also to Councilwoman Lucido.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, happy Mother's Day to you and to my mom as well. I will just say that, one, I want to thank everybody for listening in and everybody's comments. To Michaeline, who sent comments. She had a couple questions in there, and I jotted them down, and I will try to follow up with those as soon as I'm able to with the appropriate administration. I wanted to tell everybody that there is a Gleaners distribution coming up on the 12th. This is an additional distribution. Gleaners has been doing an extra distribution every month. So now instead of doing just one per month, they are doing two. So this will be May 12th at 9:30 a.m. at Eastpointe Middle School. And I would like to extend a thank you to all the volunteers, people coming out, and I know we're using masks and gloves, but I just want to thank everybody who is coming out. We understand that this is a pandemic, but people need food, and it is good to be in a position to try to help someone. So thank you for those that come out. Thank you, Mayor, for what you do with Gleaners and setting up the distribution when you did.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to everyone, and I hope everyone has a good night.
Thank you, sir. Happy Mother's Day to your mom and your wife as well. Tell them I said that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Councilman Curley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, happy birthday to Alyssa. And happy Mother's Day to everybody that's on the council. And I see there's a number of people watching tonight. There may be moms there too. So happy birthday, happy Mother's Day to them as well. I would assume that our next regular meeting on the 19th is going to be Zoom. Am I right in that, Mayor?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, that's great. I'm excited on the 12th and 13th to go over detail with the budget. I know there's so many people that work so hard to put it together. And my heart is really heavy tonight, and it's been mentioned about, I don't know what the death total is for Eastpointe with this virus. I've been in the city for 56 years, so I'm just wondering, of those, however many there were, how many of those people that I knew. And first of all, it saddens me that I haven't been able to find that out. I just don't know how to do it. And there may be a simple way to do it, but I don't know what it is. So if anybody knows what that is, they could, let me know. But I'm saddened about that. I'm saddened also to find out that it's going to be with us for some time. So we need to keep in mind a 6-foot distance. Don't go out if you don't have to. And even when you go for a walk, wear your mask. It's just a good thing. It's a good thing to do. But and we all hold dear to our hearts all the nurses and doctors and the bus drivers and everybody who are in the front line protecting us and helping people who have caught the virus. So God bless all of them. And you know what? God bless all of you too.
Thank you so much. Yes, now Mayor Pro Tem Lucido.
Yes, I would just like to thank everyone who joined us this evening and everyone that's going to watch this meeting tomorrow or whenever you have a chance. I would also like to thank all of the residents who have been doing their part to keep everyone safe, helping out neighbors. Don't forget to check on your loved ones. Don't forget to give them a call. And other than that, I have nothing else this evening.
Thank you so much. I would like to say thank you to everyone who tuned in and again, staying connected, and everyone that's listening in, all the residents in Eastpointe that are mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you, and also to you, Ms. Lucido and Ms. Doom as well. I also would like to say that I will be speaking with Vicki McClendon. I started a community and conversations with the mayor once every month, every second Friday of the month. So I will have a guest that is in a community that can help with matters in a community that might affect us, and we can talk. Since we don't have coffee shops that are open where you can sit down and talk with me, we're gonna use Zoom to the full advantage and try to get you connected with the right people, if I can connect with them as well. Also, I would like to thank Gleaners and thank you for that information, Mr. Baker, for May 12th at 9:30 at the middle school as well. And what else I had? One more thing I want to tell you all. Oh, I want to say thank you to all the frontline workers. Especially, I want to give a thank you to my mom and my 2 sisters who are frontline workers, who are registered nurses. And my mom was actually in the hospital for 5 days on an oxygen machine.
Oh.
And she came out of it, and both of my sisters were really sick. And the thing about frontline workers, when they get sick and they get well, they got to go back to work and do it all over again. So a big thank you to God for healing them and also healing those ones who have recovered, and those prayers out to those who have lost someone, because I lost over 20 people during this pandemic, and hopefully you guys don't have to deal with the same things I dealt with. So prayers to everybody, the residents, and thank you to all the residents for tuning in and coming together throughout this crisis. We will make it. We will make it through it. So going forward, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Curley,
Yes.
Councilperson Baker,
Yes.
Councilperson DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilperson Lucido,
Yes.
Mayor Owens.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Have a good one. Stay safe, everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Yeah, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.